What's going on, guys? Jamie dropping in for a quick little nugget of gold. If you are selling anything online, highly recommend you watch to the end of this video. It's only going to be short, and the reason for that is it's going to help you increase the trust factor that your marketplace has in you as an individual brand or seller of any kind, and also help you sell more. Plus, also do the selling in a way which is just super congruent with yourself, and none of this kind of like high pressure, like you got to buy my stuff or else the world's going to blow up type stuff. And this is also applicable if you're selling via DMs, Google Docs, VSLs, webinars, SMS, email, what else is there? Phone calls, Zooms, Facebook time, you know what I'm saying, whatever, shut up. Anyways, so a little bit of context for you. Just caught up with a gentleman, former colleague of mine actually, kind of become mates over the years, although I admit I haven't seen him for quite some time. For lunch, and we used to work together many moons ago, way back in when I met him, 2008. And he used to work, we both used to work for a company called IG Markets, which is a derivatives trading company specializing in foreign exchange trading, options, something called CFDs, contracts of difference. And it was a bit of a miracle that I ended up at this company, to be perfectly honest, mainly because even though I get paid extremely well to write stuff nowadays, I failed English at school. I actually never finished high school, and my mathematical skills are, I think, what's the English word? Atrocious, I think it is. Yeah, atrocious. Let's go with that. And so that's not me being self-deprecating. This is me just being brutally honest with where I'm at in life, and I'm quite comfortable with it. Now, how the hell did I end up in working for finance, right? Like, it's crazy. There's these massive big algorithms, and you had to basically do this pretty intense arithmetic in your mind while you're taking trades live in real time, while the markets are just going like crazy up and down, all sorts of stuff. And you had to be really sharp, had to be very specific with your input as well. Otherwise, if you happen to make a mistake, the company would be liable for those damages, and sometimes they were to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, which was a little bit risque, shall we say. Anyway, 2008, I started this company, and quickly wriggled my way in, knowing I was an underdog and I had no qualifications or no reason for being there, and I had many eyes scrutinizing everything I was doing, because guess what, that was the first job I'd ever had where I had to do like a bunch of admin stuff as well. So not only did I have everything else stacked against me because of my incredibly low IQ, but also had the other disadvantage of the fact that I had only ever done laboring jobs at that point. So on the end of a jackhammer or construction worker or pest control, did that for a while, drove dump trucks in a gold mine, worked on fishing boats, delivered yachts, all this kind of crazy stuff. So very limited admin experience at that time. Real estate for a couple of years as well. So some admin experience, not a hell of a lot. Anyways, why am I telling you that? Just to paint some context more than anything. Anyways, this dude was there, and he was the business development manager, and so he'd get flown all around the country and then often the world to go and chat with these high net worth clients to basically talk about their trading and all that type of stuff and win business. And eventually I ended up in the sales role myself, not in that one specifically, but just a junior sales role. And I was young and naive and ambitious, and effectively he gave me some advice one time. We're getting to it, so I appreciate your patience while I walk down memory lane with all this stuff. And effectively he gave me a list of questions that he often asks in a sales dynamic. Now, this guy is one of the best salespeople I've ever seen in my life. He's just a born natural, incredibly good at it, and obviously took a lot of training as well to refine his craft. And there's a set of questions. It wasn't a script per se. It was just things that he often liked to ask, and then the psychology behind why he would ask them. And like I say, a lot of it came naturally to him, but then when he had to kind of formulate it to give to other folks, he had to think about this stuff. And so the question that he posed, and he basically put in brackets, I remember on this piece of paper in brackets to the side of it, tell me no, advanced strategy. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Tell me no, what do you mean? And so he threw it into context. It was basically like, look, tell me no if you don't want to go ahead with this right now. Tell me no if I'm out of line type thing. And I was at the time, I was just like, I don't get how I'd ever use that. I don't get it. Now, interestingly enough, the majority of sales I've made in recent times have come because, guess what? I have not used that line specifically, but there's a psychological principle I want to tell you guys about, which is the important part. Now, the thing that works so well about it is you are giving permission to the other person on the other side of that to say no. You are giving them that safe feeling that, hey, I'm actually in control. I can say no. I trust this person because they're allowing me that freedom to say no. And interestingly enough, you're not applying pressure. Right? You're not saying, hey, you have to buy that thing or else. You're actually doing the opposite. Hey, look, if it's not for you, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Sure, there's going to be some cool benefits of jumping forward with this thing, but it's not going to be for everyone. That's completely cool. Now, the funny thing with doing this approach is, in a sales sense, they call it a takeaway selling, basically. But I don't do it because I'm trying to do a takeaway sell. That's the thing. I do it because I want the other person to have that freedom of choice about what they choose to do, and whether that is make that decision to come forward and get help with their business and all that type of stuff, cool. If it's more appropriate for them to not proceed at that point or find another solution they feel is going to be more likely, it's up to them. I can't control that, right? Now, what I'd encourage you guys to do is, if you're still with me at this point, thank you, by the way, and drop a comment, by the way. Let me know, have you ever tried this? Is it something that you're likely to do in your own training? Your own sales, I should say. Or have you adopted it into your own training even? There you go. Now, with that being said, if you start to do this stuff and someone feels that they're being pressured into something, they're going to back off and they're going to get, their emotional blanket's going to come up like, no, I don't want to do anything. I just want to stay safe. That's typically what happens, right? Emotionally. And so if we allow that freedom for them to go, let me mull it over, I'm not entirely sure. And you still have the intention, you still got the amazing prize, right? Whatever it is that you're selling, still got that thing that's going to help them out. So that's the mode and kind of like mental attitude you need to have when it goes into the sales dynamic, is that you need to understand that no matter what they do, they're still going to have their problem, you're still going to have your solution, okay? And by giving them that freedom to make that choice, because you're not like, hey, you should buy the thing, it's really cool. You're going, if you want it, it's there. Here's the facts, here's the information, love to help you out. If it's not for you, completely cool, right? And there's a different energy that comes with that. And so the point that I was raising is that when I caught up with my now former colleague, we were chatting about all sorts of stuff, and I told him that story. I said, remember when you gave me this advice? And he's like, yeah, dude, I remember writing that down. This is like 2010 or something like that. And it was crazy, because then when we were thinking about that stuff, and then I said to him, it took me over a decade to realize the lesson in it. And he's like, it's at least you've finally learned it, my dude. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so that's the thing. Now, like I say, the bulk of my sales have come in recent times, not because I'm trying to pressure someone into do something. It's because I know I've got an incredible solution that has helped hundreds and hundreds of people at this point, both from a mindset perspective, plus understanding marketing, plus understanding offer creation, plus understanding branding, plus understanding how to sell stuff in a way that is super chilled and congruent with who they are. And not only that, that tends to be a precursor to the money showing up as well, right? So if you want all this stuff, all the money, like, think about what you need to do before it gets to that point. And this is just one of those little tips there. All right, guys, that is it for me. Just a little random story for you guys. I hope you have an incredible day, and drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and stay tuned. I'm going to be putting out a few more of these things as well. All right, guys, you have a good one. Cheers.